most of the other volunteer departments. Just being in that, like, we have actually like shifts that are scheduled out, once every fourth night, and then we have two 40-hour guys that work Monday through Friday. So
Okay.
as far as filling out the shift calendar and everything like that, I think it's easier for us versus, some of the other departments where they have, it could be anybody that's signing up for a shift each day.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, after our last meeting, I was able to kind of build out that schedule. The only thing that I wasn't able to do, I couldn't quite figure out. So Monday through Friday, we basically have like an optional position, that somebody could sign up for, working from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. just as like basically they would get paid a stipend,
Okay.
for a 12-hour shift. So I didn't know if there was a way that we could set it up so that like that shift is available and then somebody could just go in and sign up for it.
Yeah, for sure. So what I would recommend doing, and this is every day or is this just on weekends?
Every weekday.
Every weekday. Gotcha. Okay. So what I typically am going to recommend that you do is you create some sort of an assignment for that sign up. And what we want to call that is entirely up to you. This is for on call,
It would
basically.
basically just be like a maybe just a 12-hour day shift, we could call it.
Okay. Okay. Day shift, and then usually like some sort of an indication like that this is like a sign up, right?
Right.
So we can call it 12-hour day shift sign up as an example. And then the key thing here is we want to make sure that this is sign up eligible. Basically, what that means is if there is a vacancy in this assignment,
Mm-hmm.
um, people can go in and sign up for it, right? Now we can determine if that requires approval or not, and we'll get into that in just a moment, but let's get the assignment created first. Um, from here, I'm going to assume we probably don't need to make any associations, right? Like, I mean, do you want to associate like a specific unit, call sign ID number?
No.
No. Okay, perfect. We can designate the station, but again, this is like single day sign up instances.
Mm-hmm.
So none of this is really going to have much of an effect. All of these really have to do more so with like rotational style
Okay.
entries, and this is like single day sign up stuff. You said this is just on weekdays,
Correct.
and it's 6 p to 6 a.
6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Okay, perfect. All right. We can, we'll just backdate this to start on Monday. Last occurrence, we want to leave that empty. Then we're going to go into positions and we're going to add a position. And if you don't want to limit individuals from being able to sign up for this, I recommend leaving this as no qualifier required, right? So if a captain
Mm-hmm.
can sign up for it, an engineer, a firefighter, we don't want to limit it to one position versus another, right? We want to
Yeah.
kind of leave it open-ended. So,
Perfect.
uh, and then one last thing we do want to make sure of is that that does not count as a vacancy, because I'm assuming we don't want this to affect our minimum staffing levels if someone doesn't sign up for it. Is that the
Right.
proper assumption to make?
Yes, correct.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So then we'll save that. And now we have there's that 12-hour day shift sign up. And when we go to your board, it's going to show at the bottom of your board. If you wanted to show, up top or somewhere else, you could do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And now with that, because we are allowing signups to happen in that assignment, now comes the question, or excuse me, now comes the setting. We need to make sure that people are allowed to sign up. And that's the setting right here in your settings section. Okay. With this, do you want those, anytime someone signs up in that, do you want it to require approval or do you want it to be like a first come, first serve? You sign up for it first, do you get it?
Um, I would say probably just the first come, first serve.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So if that's the way you want it to operate, then we'll just leave this toggle off. Now, if down the road you're like, hey, Kai, we want to control this a little bit more. We want to, have some sort of like a say in who gets to sign up so someone isn't just picking all of them up all the time. You
Mm-hmm.
can go in and turn this on later.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Okay. So now that we do that, when you go into your shift board, basically what's going to happen, and I'm not going to be able to see it because I'm an administrator. I'm like a fake person in your system. But if I go into my test account, I'm going to show you what that looks like from an end user perspective, that sign up feature. Let me just get here, because I have this functionality set up in my test department as well. So if I go to my shift board, I'm just Ray. I'm a basic user. I'm on the board. I'm working today, so I can't do today. Let's do the 5th. Okay, so say the 5th. I'm Bobby Smith, and I'm available. I want to sign up for that 12-hour sign up, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into that assignment. I'm going to hover over the one vacancy that it generates, and I'm going to see this little blue guy right here in the corner. I click on that little blue guy, and I'm going to sign up. Okay. And the system right now, my setup requires admin approval. So it's going to sit in there as a request. In your account, it's just going to stick that member into that firefighter vacancy, and it'll now show filled.
Gotcha.
So super easy, quick, kind of, 2-click process. Not much to it.
All
Okay.
right.
Awesome. Now, something I will say, are signups something that you only really want to allow for in this assignment specifically? Or, if you have vacancies at Station 40, do you want people to be able to sign up for those vacancies, or are these filled with some sort of like an overtime filling process?
So I guess I kind of just had it blocked out right there with what is it, 5 spots. Just because certain shifts have 4, certain shifts have 5. And then just creating that Station 40, I guess it's a rotation.
Yeah.
I guess that's just how it came
Right.
out. So
Yeah.
it's not necessarily that we have to fill all 5 spots. Obviously,
Okay.
anybody extra is great, but
Sure.
not necessarily like a spot that has to be filled.
That has to be filled. Okay. So the reason I ask is because we're allowing signups, because we're allowing users to sign up for open vacancies, this is a global setting. So what I mean by that is a member could technically go onto your board and they could sign up for this firefighter vacancy as well and be placed into it, right? If we don't want that to happen, what we're going to do is we're just going to go into your Station 40 assignment. We're going to edit it and we're going to turn this off. So if there's ever vacancies in that Station 40 assignment, we don't just get people signing up in those vacancies, right? We're strictly saying you can sign up into that 12-hour day shift assignment, right? So it just kind of gives us some more control as to what people can and can't sign up for.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So from kind of a standpoint of, your qualifiers, your groups, these are all things that we talked about in our first meeting together. Rotation creation, work types and time off types. Do you have any questions for me on any of these items that we walked through in our first meeting?
I don't believe so. I know that we had put in that ticket, to have the, I don't know if it's a rotation or like the rule made for the rotation is like the 1 on 7 off, 1 on 19 off. And I saw that got created.
Yeah, it's actually done, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a quick look, because I got an email for that the other day. Oh, this one right here.
Yep, that's the one. I was able to add it in so that for the weekend, the 24 hours on the weekend is all completed now.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, and then so did you get everyone placed onto that rotation? Is it working okay?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be fine. Awesome.
Okay, good. And are we going to be exporting to any sort of like payroll software or anything of that nature?
No, not necessarily. I don't think we have plans for that. Basically, like the 240-hour guys just kind of fill out paper time cards right now and turn those into our bookkeeper. So, other than that, I don't think we'll be like exporting it to QuickBooks or anything.
Okay. Now, is there any want or need or desire to like internally track when someone is off on specific leave types, or do you want to just kind of have like approved time off, basically?
I don't. It's I guess not necessarily like my side of the house tracking that kind of stuff. So
Sure.
um, I don't know that we would use it on here. I think we probably have just like I guess a different way of tracking
Mhm.
it.
So the reason I ask is if you're wanting to
Mhm.
like accurately maintain what your staffing looks like on a daily basis. And let's just say, for sake of example, we have Jaden here, and Jaden is off, right? So
Mhm.
Jaden was scheduled to work today, but Jaden is off for some reason, right? Sure, maybe we don't need to get as specific as to like tracking in our system why Jaden is off, like what leave type, the reason, but we want to show that Jaden's off so that we can now backfill that position that is
Right.
now vacant, right? We need to have some sort of a leave type built into the system so we can pull Jaden off. We can put them off on that leave type, right? Whatever it is, it could be just like a generic, like I just renamed this approved leave, right? It can be
Mhm.
whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be super specific, but at least now we can see visually on the board, Jaden is in time off for the day, and now we need to backfill that vacancy. So we have like accurate staffing representations, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Awesome. Okay. Um, perfect. Now, when it comes to um tracking, or excuse me, backfilling, do you guys ever, perform backfills? And if so, what kind of process do you guys follow, right? So like we drop down below our minimums. We need to get someone here to fill that position.
Mhm.
What is the process that you guys currently follow to do that?
You know, I guess I don't know that we necessarily have a process other than like if a guy knows he's not going to be there on shift or he's not able to make it in, we ask them, reach out to, the other people and see if anybody can cover you. If not,
Okay.
it kind of is what it is.
Okay.
And then like, if they can trade shifts, that's great. But,
Okay. Gotcha. So do you foresee yourselves really utilizing the call shift feature where basically like you're putting a message out to, people saying, hey, we need this filled. Can someone take it? And then people respond back.
the only shifts that I could see us using that for would be those two 40-hour spots. If one of
Okay.
those guys wasn't coming in or wasn't able to come in, we could put that out so that somebody could pick it up.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, and those are going to be like your operations folks, right? So it looks like. And you have, okay. So 13 in total of those people. Okay. Now, if you're ever trying to backfill for either of those vacancies, what sort of like a filling process do you guys follow? Is it first come, first serve?
Yeah,
What does
for
that
the
look
most
like?
part, if one of
Okay.
those guys is going to be like out on vacation the week before, they'll basically put a paper on a board what days they're going to be gone and have people sign up for them.
Okay. Gotcha. So the reason I ask is because our call shift feature is very configurable. Okay, there's a lot of different ways that we can set this feature up um, to basically say, you know, we put out a message for a vacancy that we're trying to backfill for. Do we want to fill it first come, first serve? Do we need to fill it based on, number of hours that members have worked? Do we need to fill it based on like rotational last person that picked up an open shift? We have a
Mhm.
lot of different ways that we can set it, right? Now, if you guys are truly like we're not that crazy with it. We just put the message out, first person to respond back, yes, I can work it. They get put into that spot. That's
Mhm.
considered first come, first serve,
Right.
right? So, and the beauty of first come, first serve it's a very simple setup in the call ship feature because we don't need to worry about how people are ordered, right? It's just a list of people or a group of
Right.
people. So, um, if we were to set it up that way, let's just take a quick look here. Okay, so it looks like AM starts at 0600. So we'll make that your default start. Da, 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 da. And then that would be a full-time backfill that you would be using this for. And that's really all that we're going to need to do. So basically, we go into your rules. Sounds like the only time you're really ever going to be using this call shift feature is for operator vacancies. Is that the correct assumption to make?
Yes.
These 13 folks here. Okay, perfect. So let's save this. So now that's really all the setup is. Again, it's super simple. We're done with it. However, now we have that capability of saying, we have an AM vacancy on Friday, right? And we need a backfill for that. We now can go into the call shift feature. We can send out a new call shift, and we can say that it's for this Friday. Okay. Let's say it's right 6 to, was it 1800? They're 12-hour blocks?
To 1400.
To 1400. Okay, gotcha. So we'll say it's 6 to 1400. Okay, and then on the 5th. Or qualifier, basically, what list do you want to contact? We'll say contact our operators. System's going to say, okay, looks like there's 9 people that are available during that time frame. They're not already working, right? Or they're not in some sort of like leave or whatever the case might be. We put in a message. So, in this message field, we can say, AM shift opening available, on September 5th. Please respond back if you're able to work it. And then we send this out. What the system is going to do is it's going to contact all 9 of these people at once. Okay, and it's going to contact them based on their preferred method of contact, whatever they have that set to. That could be a phone call, a text message, an email, or an app notification. So they're contacted by the system, and they're all going to be given until the deadline of the call shift to respond to it. The deadline, you can set it to whatever you want it to be. I left it to the start of the shift, right? So I start it right now. Well, it's going to end right the moment that shift starts. But if you're like, I want to know by tonight, right? I want to know by the 3rd at 1900, right? Whether or not someone took it. You can adjust that deadline as you need to or want to.
Okay.
So let's say a couple minutes goes by, Nick responds back, and Nick says yes. Because it's first come, first serve, it's going to go to Nick. It'll be awarded to Nick, and it will close that entire call shift because the need has been filled, right? So now Nick is going to be put onto the board for the 5th under your full-time backfill work type. And then we'll just plug him into that AM vacancy. So it's super simple process. This is something you could also use, for your other folks if you wanted to, like just kind of a way of, kind of replacing maybe like some like internal like group me messaging that you guys might use. I know departments use a variety of different things to kind of message members. So you can use this functionality to kind of replace some of that if you wanted to.
Gotcha.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So let's see here. Time off, it doesn't really sound like members are going to be submitting time off requests through our system, or will they be your full time?
No.
No. Okay. So I don't know that we really need to go through time off settings, but swaps are something that happen, right?
Yes, correct.
Perfect. So with swaps, you'd mentioned that, members can like basically give a shift away. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, we prefer that they trade, but yes, it is possible, to just
Okay.
do it away.
Perfect. So I am going to say we don't really have like a shift giveaway feature right now. Okay. I would recommend using just our swap feature, to be honest with you, 100% of the time, right? Even if it's like not truly a swap, if like they're truly just giving their shift to someone, still put it in as a trade, just because it tracks all of it, right? It tracks that this was Johnny's shift and now, right, he gave it to Tommy. All of that is tracked and maintained in the system if it's done as a trade.
Gotcha.
So, First thing we have with trade disclaimers is, or excuse me, with your trade settings is a trade disclaimer. So the trade disclaimer is completely optional. You don't have to have this setting turned on. If you do turn it on, you can put the disclaimer that you want in this text box. Okay, so anything pertaining to swaps or, shift exchanges that you want members to be aware of.
Okay.
And then we can tell the system anytime someone submits a swap request or a trade request, we want them to see that disclaimer and accept it. We can also say anytime someone accepts a trade, they need to see that disclaimer and accept it. So just kind of a way of making sure that that disclaimer, right, those terms of use, if you will, are in front of their face and they have to basically confirm that they've read them, right?
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Now, when swaps are being performed between members, is there any sort of like administrative or supervisory level approval needed?
I would say yes.
Okay.
And that's
And
usually
who are we thinking?
oops, sorry. That's
I'm sorry.
usually the responsibility of like their company officer, so their captain, as long as
Okay.
they agree to it.
Okay, perfect. So what I would recommend doing, so we have a couple of ways that we can set this up. First option is let the user select who should approve the trade. If this option is on, what we're saying is if I go in to submit a trade request, I type in the name of my captain as the approver. Okay. Now, this is not a free for all. I can't just type in anyone's name. I have to type in someone's name who has the permission to approve trades. So I can't just send it to my buddy who's a firefighter to approve it, right? It has to go to someone with the proper access. We can say notify someone specifically on duty. Now, the issue with this that I see potentially for you guys is if I'm submitting a swap today for my shift on the 12th, I'm a C shift member.
Mm-hmm.
I submit the swap today. Well, today's a B shift day. It's going to go to Captain Kumar because he's the on-duty captain, right? And he may not care about the trade because it's not on his shift day. So it's not going to the right captain if you do this option.
Gotcha.
Specific users, we could say go to a specific group of people every single time. Okay. So you could, in theory, select all of your captains and put all of your captains in here. The issue now is every single captain is going to get every single trade request, and they could get tired of that pretty quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say your best bet is let the user select, and they just put in their captain's name based on what shift they're on.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool deal. Your next thing we have is your default work type and your default time off type. Now, typically, for most agencies, I'm going to recommend that you do like a trade on or trade working and a trade off. And this is really more than anything for visualization on your board. Okay. So if we go into your work types and we create a trade on code or swap on, right, whatever term you use, you want it to make sense to you guys. So we create a trade on, and then under time off, we create a trade off. And now that we do that, we go to trade settings. Work type is trade on, time off type is trade off. Now, anytime a swap is performed between two members through the shift trade feature, they're going to show under these codes. And that's just for tracking, right, and accuracy on your board. So I recommend that we have those two put in. Now, because we're not really pulling any reports, we're not doing any payroll in the system, you don't need to worry too much about this setting. We can skip over it for now. Limiting trades from traded shifts. Do you all ever do three-way trades? Do members ever perform three-way trades? Trades on top of trades?
Not typically, no.
Okay. Is it something you want them to be able to do?
So are you saying like, so, I trade, Eric for his shift tomorrow, and then I change my mind and I want to trade with somebody else, or?
So I'm saying, pick up a trade for Johnny tomorrow. So I'm working for Johnny tomorrow. I say, oh, shoot, I can't actually work tomorrow. I then submit it to someone else to work for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I would say no.
Prevent it.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. I mean, I will say it can get kind of messy if you're allowing
Yeah.
it. Um, so we'll just prevent it altogether, right? So
Okay.
if I pick up a trade with someone and I say, oh, I can't actually work it, okay, well then delete the trade and then have that member resubmit it to someone else,
Yeah.
basically. Right? Yeah. Okay. Limiting trades to matching qualifiers. Do you want to limit trades between like ranks?
Um, I would say
So,
yes, just
okay.
because, like, I mean, at least their rank or higher. I would say. I guess if
Okay.
that makes sense,
So,
or that's more coverage, but.
yeah, I will say, so here's kind of the unfortunate thing about this setting here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's really gonna limit who can swap with who, right?
Gotcha.
So for example, if I'm a firefighter and I'm capable of stepping up as an engineer and
Mm-hmm.
acting out of grade, if that setting is on, I'm never able to accept a swap or a trade with an engineer or vice versa. An engineer can never work a day for me as a firefighter.
Gotcha.
It's truly going to hard set limit those from happening. And most departments need that sort of flexibility, right?
Yeah,
To
like
say we
leave that
want them to
option.
trade up or down. Yeah. So I typically am going to see this left off just because it prevents too much.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And because it's all going through final approval, right? If the captain sees like, hey, you started with us yesterday, you can't work for a captain, right?
Yeah.
They
Right.
just deny that trade. So, cool deal. Okay, so let's save that. Good to go there. Now, when it comes to utilizing the shift trade feature, let's run through this functionality. It's super easy, super simple to use. And I'm going to actually do it within my test account just so you can kind of see from an end user perspective what that looks like. Give me 1 second though. I need to fix my settings to reflect yours. Mm-mm. Okay. So again, we're a user in the system. And this can be done through the app on your phone or through the desktop. Both work. And if we go to shift board, or excuse me, shift trades, this is where it lives. So we go to shift trades. This is what we're brought to. Okay, so we're gonna be presented with our next month of shifts. Okay. Um, if for some reason you're wanting to submit a trade for a day farther out in the future, that's where you're going to push this trade start date out. Okay. So if
Mm-hmm.
I need a trade for the month of November, I'm going to say, show me my November schedule. And now there's all my November days.
Gotcha.
Okay. So let's say I'm looking for a trade on the 13th. I choose that day. Next is who am I sending this to for approval? This is the supervisor, my captain, right? So I type
Mm-hmm.
in my captain's name, and they'll pop up here. Next is who am I sending this trade to for acceptance, right? In other words, who do I want to work this day for me? If I have a specific person in mind, I talked to them already and they said they could do it, I could type in a specific person's name. Or maybe I don't know who can work it for me and I just want to kind of cast out that net. I could set it to a list of people as
Mm-hmm.
well. Okay. Now, if I send it to a list of people, I cannot use the reciprocal trade feature for payback because the system has no idea who's going to work it for me, so it has no idea what payback day I'm going to put
Gotcha.
in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus if I say I'm specifically, gonna do the swap with Sally, well, the system knows Sally's schedule. So now I can turn this on and I can say in return, I'm gonna work November 17th for Sally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now I'm basically putting 2 trades into the system. You can put any notes in here that you want to for tracking purposes. It's not a requirement, but you can use that. And then you'll submit the request. Oh, I'm already in time off for that day, so let's move this to a different day. Sorry, I use this person as my test a lot. Let's see here. See if that will let me. Aha, perfect. Okay, so that one went through good. So now what's going to happen is the first thing it's going to do is it's going to go to Sally. And Sally needs to accept it, right? Sally needs to confirm, yes, I can work that day for you. We're not going to just assume that Sally can.
Mm-hmm.
So Sally's going to get an email letting her know, hey, shift trade has been submitted. Log in to accept it. She can do it from her app or through the desktop, and she's going to see it in this review area under
Mm-hmm.
shift trades. Okay. Once Sally accepts it, now it's going to go to the captain for approval. Okay. So the captain will get an email. And again, right, please log in to approve this trade. They go in under review. They'll see that trade and they can approve or deny it.
Gotcha.
At any point in time, you can also see all trade history. Okay. So I can go into the history area here and I can see these pending trades that are in,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like here's this one for Bobby. I go in, I see it. Perfect. I can kind of see where it's at in the process, right? So it's waiting for Sally to respond to it. So basically what that means, if I were to log into Sally's account, Sally's going to have a bunch of pending trades in her review that she needs to respond to.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, once it's been fully approved by all parties, the system is now going to make all proper reflections on the board for you. So what will happen is Bobby will be pulled into time off. Sally's going to show in his place on a trade. And then we're going to see a trade also on the right-hand corner of the screen. Okay.
Okay.
Now, another thing that we have the ability to do in the system is we can actually put in a trade for 2 people on their behalf. Okay. And just important thing to note here, anytime you use this feature, it bypasses all approval. So no one needs to accept or approve trades when we use this feature.
Okay.
So let's just say for sake of example, I'm looking at the board for today and actually hang on, let me log in as an admin because Bobby can't do this. Okay, so I'm a captain, I'm an officer. I'm looking at the board and let's go to, hang on, I'm doing these filters out of here. Okay, and we see that Bobby Smith is working, but let's say that Sally's actually working for Bobby today and we want to reflect that in the system, okay? What you can do is you can right click on Bobby's name and you can add a trade in for Bobby on his behalf, okay? So if we hit add trade, I'll put in, okay, who's working for Bobby? And I'll say Sally's working for Bobby. I can also put in a reciprocal. So I can put a payback. I could say, okay, I know that they have a trade on the books, a payback for the 25th. I'm going to go ahead and just stick that in here as well. Or maybe Bobby doesn't know when he's going to work for Sally in return. We leave it open-ended. Okay. Once that's all done, we hit save. Oh, they already have an overlap happening that day. Yeah, I use these people quite a bit if you couldn't tell. Let's go out to, let's try December. I don't think I have anything going on there. Oh, but Sally's working. Let's do, okay, this day should work. I don't have anything in December, I don't think. Perfect. Okay. So anytime a trade is submitted this way, the system is going to do this for you. So we can see now Sally is showing working for Bobby, right? And we see that little kind of swap icon there. We see that Bobby was put into time off. And anytime someone is put into time off, it's going to show trade off, right? It shows sick for me because I don't have a trade code, but we built you a trade code, so yours will show trade off. And then we're going to see that trade right here as well, just kind of as a visual indication that, how many swaps do we have on the board today? So we can see who it's between and then who approved it, right? Which is whatever, admin or captain. Okay.
Perfect.
Awesome. And now another really cool thing about our swap feature is our register. So the register tracks time owed and earned between members. So if I wanted to go in and I wanted to look at Bobby's register, I can go in and do that. Bobby also has access to his own register, so he can go in at any point and see who he owes time to and who owes him time. So I go into his register and I can see he has outstanding trade time with all of these people. Okay. So for example, Sally owes him trade time. Sally Mae owes him trade time. He owes Sally Johnston time. He owes John Doe time. And Tommy John owes him time. And that's all based on this earned versus owed.
Gotcha.
Right here. Okay. So no more, people saying, "Oh, I already worked back for you."
Right.
All of that. We got timestamps now.
Perfect.
Awesome. Any questions on the trade feature?
No, I think you've explained it pretty well.
Okay, awesome. Perfect. I'm gonna assume I think I know the answer to this question, but I want to ask it anyways. Are you wanting to track banks of time in our system, like leave?
No.
No. Okay, I didn't think so, but I like to double check. Okay, so we're not really going to be using time off really at all, other than, like as an admin, potentially. Call shift feature we, kind of talked through. Something that I would really like for you to start doing, just to kind of familiarize yourself even more and get more comfortable with the system, is reflecting what your staffing looks like each day on the board. Okay. Now, when you do this is entirely up to you. I have departments that they'll do this at the end of each shift day, the end of each calendar day. They'll do it once a week. It's just kind of up to you, the time that you can allot to do this. But really what I mean by that is I want you to go in and I want you to reflect what your staffing actually look like for the day on our board so that you can get comfortable with making those types of movements and changes, right? So if Jaden was out for the day, pulling Jaden off, right? If Jason was out sick, we had someone backfilling, putting that person in on that backfill, right? So we can accurately see who was working, when they were working, where they were working. And then you can start to kind of run through these scenarios that maybe don't come up very often. And you're like, "Hey, Kai, how do we reflect this style change?" Right? We had this happen today. Show me the best way to reflect that. And we can kind of go through those different situations or scenarios as they come up.
Gotcha.
Okay. Perfect. Another thing that you are going to want to start taking a look at sooner rather than later is roles. Okay. So your roles are basically who can do what in the system, right?
Yeah.
And right now, you technically have 3 roles in use. You have your fire department admin role, which is going to be your full-fledged administrators. Typically, we don't want that many people to be in the admin role, right? Maybe a couple. You have your fire department, which is like your end user role, your basic end user role. And then usually we're going to have some sort of like midline role, right? Your supervisors, your captains, your officers. Now, if we're editing your fire department role, which is again typically going to be like your end user, right? And that's going to, if we open this up, you'll see that's where basically everyone currently resides is in that role. We go to permissions, this third tab here over, and we go down into scheduling. In here, we now need to determine what can people do versus not do if they are under this rule in the system.
Mhm.
Typically, rule of thumb with end users is you don't want them having anything other than like access, right? They
Right.
shouldn't be deleting things, they shouldn't be adding things, they shouldn't be editing things. It's a view only typically for end
Mhm.
users. Um, so luckily, pretty simple for building out like end user access, right?
Yeah.
Like I will say they need the ability to go in and, like I actually think you might already have all this on. Hang on a second. Let me look real quick. Mm, 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 mm. Don't need any of that. Mm-mm. Actually, I think you're good. Yeah, actually, I don't think that you need anything additional turn on for them. I think we might be good to go for them.
Okay.
Let's take a look at your captains.
Yeah, I've kind of like been in and out trying to edit these things with the more meetings we have. There's different stuff for different modules. So
Oh my gosh, I know it's yeah, the rules are a lot.
yeah.
Okay, let's see here. And something I will say is the roles are a lot of trial and error. The more you, the more comfortable you get with the system,
Mhm.
the more of an understanding you'll have on like, okay, here's what I want my officers or my captains to be able to do, right?
Right.
Like, and then you can go in and you now know what permissions to enable based on that, like
Mhm.
testing that you're doing. So I will say most of the time this is going to be like an evolving task that you have
Yeah.
as you're kind of configuring and testing out in the system. You'll go in and say, oh, yep, I do want them to go in and initiate a call shift versus not, right? It's
Mhm.
all just kind of based on like your testing and playing around in the system.
Gotcha.
But I do think you have a pretty good starting point, at least with captains. I don't think we'll really be using off roster. Shift board, not doing any approvals on that, so we're good to go there. Yeah, not really anything with time off. We do want them to, approve trades. That's good to go. See trade history. Yeah, yeah, you got a pretty good starting point here as well. I would say just, the more comfortable you get in the system, the more you'll start to understand like, okay, captains need to be able to, do this
Mhm.
versus not do that.
Gotcha.
Um, are there any other specific questions that you have, like on anything within scheduling that you've kind of noticed as you're playing around?
I don't think so. As I kind of got in and started doing that, I think I've kind of got it figured out.
Yeah,
Yes, I think
okay.
so at the
Do you have,
moment.
yeah, yeah. Do you guys have a go live? Like when you're hoping to start using this like in a live environment with your members?
I believe that like the plan to go live for the county is the 22nd. Um, so I was assuming, at least, probably at least a week or two prior to that, I would basically get everybody logged in and have them
Mm-hmm.
get eyes on it. I think mainly I was kind of just waiting on, finishing up these meetings or whatever for the modules and getting stuff set up so that I kind of knew what I was talking about when I was explaining it to them.
Sure. Yeah. So the 22nd of this month?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So, um, here's what I'm thinking, and let me know your thoughts. I would like to have like a post kind of go live check-in. See how
Okay.
things are going. What questions do you have? Have any issues come up? If so, what issues have come up? Let's get them resolved. Let's get them fixed and situated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Before, we kind of mark you as complete. Again, you're a lot of the more complex functionality, you're not like I mean, you might use call shifts, but not like, nearly to the extent that like a career department would be. So
Right.
a lot of this stuff is honestly it's relatively simple. It's just kind of going in and playing with it. Um, so if we were to get just that post to go live
Mm-hmm.
meeting on the books, a- again, kind of with that thought that you're gonna roll out on the 22nd. Um, when I want to be kind of mindful and think like you're probably going to be, relatively busy the first couple of days just with questions and people getting
Mm-hmm.
used to it and all that. So, do you want to do like maybe the end of that week, the beginning of like the next week? What do you think will work best for you?
Yeah, we could do the 26th.
26th. Okay, I have a 1:30 that day. Would that work for you?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And let's see if I have your, haha, I do. Perfect. So I'll send this invite out to you. If there's anyone else that you want to include in this, please feel free to do so. Anyone else from your district that you want to plug
Yeah.
in and just have them be involved,
Okay.
feel free to forward this on to them, okay?
Sounds good.
And we'll just do fire protection district. Don't need to spell it all out. And get that booked. Okay, so um that's coming over to you. You should be getting that in your inbox here in just a moment. If anything crucial comes up before then, if you're like, Kai, we ran into this huge snag, help, let me
Mm-hmm.
know. We
Okay.
can always get like a 30-minute meeting on the calendar. Um, take a look, see what's going on and get you all situated. Otherwise, I think you're honestly in a really good spot, just continuing to play around in the system and get comfortable with it. And um, yeah, any questions come up, you just let me know.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate your
Okay.
time.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries at all. You stay safe. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. You as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.